Assalamu alaikum dear students. In the last lecture of chapter 2 mathematical methods, we have studied vector analysis, as all physical quantities are mainly classified into two types, scalars and vectors. Scalars or scalar quantities are physical quantities which have magnitude only and are specified completely by a number and a unit. Length, time, temperature, density, etc. are examples of scalars. And scalars can be added or subtracted by the rules of simple algebra. Then next, vectors or vector quantities are the physical quantities which have magnitude as well as direction. That means the physical quantities which need magnitude as well as direction for their complete description are called as vectors. Example of vectors are displacement, velocity, force, etc. there. And a vector can be represented by a directed line segment or by an arrow. The length of the line segment drawn to scale gives the magnitude of the vector. For example, displacement of a body from P to Q can be represented as P, an arrow, then Q. Starting point of the P is called the tail and end point Q, arrowhead, is called the head of the vector. Symbolically, we write it as PQ and above the small arrow we have to put. So, symbolically vectors are also represented by a single capital letter with an arrow above it. For example, X, above it we are putting the arrow, so it is vector X. A, above it we are putting the arrow, so it is vector A, etc. The magnitude of a vector X is to be written as modulus of vector X or only by means of the capital letter, that is X there. Then we had seen different types of vectors. A is given 0 vector, which is also called as null vector. A vector having 0 magnitude with a particular direction, that is arbitrary direction, is called as 0 vector. And symbolically it is to be represented as above 0 we have to put the small arrow over there. Examples are to be given. Velocity vector of a stationary particle is a 0 vector, and also the acceleration vector of an object moving with uniform velocity is a 0 vector. Then next type we had seen resultant vector, which is nothing but the resultant of two or more vectors is a single vector which produces the same effect as produced by all vectors together. Then the next type is negative vector, or known as opposite vector. A negative vector of a given vector is a vector of the same magnitude but opposite in direction to that of the given vector. For example, vector A is given over here moving from left to right there, and vector B is in opposite direction. The direction is given from right to left, as vector A having the same magnitude as that of the vector B, but the direction of vector A and vector B are in opposite direction. So here we can say that the vector B is a negative vector to that of the vector A, and hence we can write vector A is equal to minus of vector B, where minus sign indicates the direction is opposite to each other. Then the next step we had seen equal vectors. The two vectors A and B representing the same physical quantity, and it is to be equal if and only if they have the same magnitude and direction. For example, the vector A and vector B having the same magnitude and they are directed in the same direction, so that vector A and vector B are said to be the equal vectors. Then next we had seen position vector, a vector which gives the position of a particle at a point with respect to the origin of a chosen coordinate system is called the position vector of a particle. Here point P indicates the position of the particle with respect to the origin, so that vector R, which is equal to OP vector, is the position vector of the particle present at point P. And the last type we had seen, unit vector. A vector having unit magnitude in a given direction is called as unit vector in that direction. If vector M is non-zero vector, so its magnitude M is also non-zero, and the unit vector along vector M is to be written as UM cap, where a small letter case we are supposed to take to represent the unit vector over there, and it is to be given as vector M is equal to unit vector into magnitude of the given vector, and hence unit vector UM cap is to be given as given vector divided by magnitude of the vector there. So over here the unit vector, that is the UM cap, has magnitude unity and has the same direction as that of the given vector M there. Now if we are taking the rectangular coordinate system or three-dimensional coordinate system having x, y and z axis, so over there along the x axis the unit vector is to be represented as I cap, along the y axis the unit vector is to be given as j cap, and along the z axis the unit vector is to be represented as k cap respectively, and hence I cap is to be given as vector x upon magnitude of the vector x, j cap is to be given as vector y upon magnitude of vector y, and k cap is to be given as vector z divided by magnitude of vector z there. So these are the types of the vectors there. Now let's proceed the chapter. The next topic we have vector operations. The operation like multiplication, addition and subtraction over the vectors can be done. The vector operation involves first, multiplication of a vector by a scalar quantity. Second, addition and subtraction of vectors. Third, triangle law of vector addition. And fourth, law of parallelogram of vectors. Now let's see the first vector operation, that is multiplication of a vector by a scalar quantity. When we multiply a vector by a scalar quantity, so the result we are getting as another vector. Let's consider, we are considering a vector P which is to be multiplied with a scalar quantity S. So the multiplication of a vector quantity with the scalar quantity leads to the another vector, and hence it is to be written as the multiplication of vector quantity and the scalar quantity is to be getting as vector Q. So vector Q is equal to S into P, where Q is a vector quantity whose direction is in the same direction of the vector P, and the magnitude of the vector Q is S times the magnitude of the vector P. So in this way multiplication of a vector by a scalar quantity can be done, and the result of the multiplication we are obtaining as another vector quantity whose direction is in the same direction of the multiplied vector with a scalar quantity, and magnitude of the resultant is the magnitude of S times the magnitude of the given vector there. The next vector operation is addition and subtraction of vectors. The addition and subtraction of two or more vectors of the same type, that is describing the same physical quantity, gives rise to a single vector such that the effect of this single vector is the same as the net effect of the vectors which have been added or subtracted. It is very important that we should know the process of finding the resultant of two or more vectors, which is also called as the composition of vectors. The addition of two or more vectors must be takes place of the same type. That is, only the same physical quantities can be added and subtracted if the physical quantity is vector quantity. And hence, the addition of two or more vectors of the same type gives rise to a single vector only, which is called as the resultant vector there. And the resultant vector having the same effect as the effect of the given vectors which is to be added over there. For example, force F1 vector and force F2 vector can be added to give the resultant force, and hence we can write vector F is equal to vector F1 plus vector F2. So over here the vector quantities of same type, that is describing the same physical quantities, can be added or subtracted. That means force vector cannot be added or subtracted to a velocity vector there. Now it is easy to find the addition of vectors AB and vector BC having the same or opposite direction but different magnitudes. If individual vectors are parallel, as you can see in this figure, if the individual vectors are parallel, that is in the same direction, the magnitude of their resultant is the addition of individual magnitudes. That is, over here vector AB is having the direction from A to B, the magnitude is given 5 centimeter. Another individual vector is given vector BC, whose magnitude is 7 centimeter, and they are parallel to each other. That means their directions are same, so that the resultant of the addition of these two vectors is to be takes place, that we have to add the magnitude of these two vectors. So 5 plus 7 will be the 12 centimeter. Hence the resultant of the given vectors after the addition we are getting as vector AC, which is equal to vector AB plus vector BC, as the directions are same of both the adding vectors. So the resultant vector having the same direction, and the magnitude is to be given as the magnitude of vector AC is equal to magnitude of vector AB plus magnitude of vector BC. Hence the magnitude of vector AC we are getting as 12 centimeter. So that if individual vectors are parallel, that is in the same direction, the magnitude of their resultant is the addition of individual magnitudes, that is magnitude of vector AC is equal to magnitude of vector AB plus magnitude of vector BC, and direction of the resultant of vector AC is the same as that of the individual vectors there. However, if the individual vectors are anti-parallel, that is in the opposite direction, so the magnitude of their resultant is the difference of the individual magnitudes there, and the direction is that of the larger vector. That is, over here, as vector AB is given 11 Newton, where vector AB is directed from left to right, and another vector is given of 5 Newton, that is vector BC, which is directed from right to left there. So the resultant of these two vectors, as vector BC is in the opposite direction of vector AB, that's why we can say that over here vector BC is opposite to vector AB. Hence when we are adding these two vectors, so because of the opposite direction of vector BC, we have to take its negative sign there. As we had discussed that the negative sign indicates the opposite direction there. So that the addition over here of these two vectors which are anti-parallel to each other, as their direction is in opposite direction, so the resultant vector will be written as AC, and the direction of the resultant vector AC is to be given as that of the direction of the larger vector. As the larger vector of 11 Newton is directed from left to right, that's why the resultant vector is also directed from left to right there. And about the magnitude over here, the magnitude of the vector AB is to be taken as 11 Newton, but due to the opposite direction of vector BC, over here we have to take the magnitude as minus 5 Newton. Hence the addition will be takes place 11 Newton plus of minus 5 Newton will gives 6 Newton there. And hence we can write the magnitude of the vector AC is equal to magnitude of vector AB minus magnitude of vector BC. So we can say that if the individual vectors are anti-parallel, that is in the opposite direction, the magnitude of their resultant is the difference of the individual magnitudes, and the direction is that of the larger vector there. So here the magnitude of the resultant vector AC over here is to be given as magnitude of vector AB minus magnitude of vector BC, and the direction is to be given as the direction of the larger vector, which is AB vector over here. So the direction of vector AC is in the same direction of the vector AB there. So this is all about the addition and subtraction of the vectors. Now the next vector operation is triangle law of vector addition. When vectors of a given type do not act in the same or opposite directions, the resultant can be determined by using the triangle law of vector addition, which is stated as: if two vectors describing the same physical quantity are represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle taken in order, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle drawn in the opposite sense, that is from the starting point of the first vector to the end point of the second vector. Let's consider the two vector A and vector B is to be taken in the plane of this paper as shown in this figure. The sum of these two vectors can be obtained by using the triangle law of vector addition as it is described there, and the resultant vector is to be indicated by the vector C there. As the vector A is to be denoted by PQ and vector B is to be denoted as RS. So when these two vectors are to be given of same physical quantity, so when it is to be added together, so it is to be considered by the two sides of the triangle. These two vectors will describe the two sides of the triangle there, and the third side of the triangle will be the resultant, that means the addition of these two vector. As per the triangle of vector addition, there is a method to add these two vector, as we are considering the vector A, which is to be taken by the side of the triangle as PQ. So the vector B is to be added with this vector in such a way that the starting point of the vector B must be coincide with the end point of the vector A. Hence, it will be given by the two sides of the triangle as it is shown in this figure. Vector A and vector B is to be added in such a way that the vector B, which is having its starting point, must be coincide with the end point of the first vector, that is vector A. So here vector A and vector B are added together and it is to be given by the two sides of the triangle. Then the addition of these two vector will be given its resultant by means of the third side of the triangle, which is nothing but PS. The point PS, the side PS will be the resultant of the addition of these two vector A and vector B. The resultant is to be given as the vector C, as the resultant is also a vector quantity, so it is having its magnitude and direction. The magnitude is to be given by the side PS and the direction of the resultant vector is to be given as per the triangle law of vector addition, that the starting point of the first vector must be coincide with the starting point of the resultant, and end of the second vector must be coincide with the end point of the resultant there. That's why the direction of the resultant is from point P to point S. S point P is nothing but the starting point of the vector A and point S is the end point of the vector B. So that the resultant is to be directed from point P to point S there. And the resultant vector is to be given as vector C is equal to vector A plus vector B. So by using the triangle law of vector addition, if two vectors describing the same physical quantity are represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of the triangle taken in order, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle drawn in the sense that the direction of the resultant is given started from starting point of the first vector to the end point of the second vector, and the resultant is to be given as over here vector C is equal to vector A plus vector B. Now we can use the triangle law of vector addition for showing that the vector addition is commutative and vector addition is associative. So let's have how can we show that the vector addition is commutative there. For any two vectors, vector P and vector Q, we can write the addition of these two vectors as vector P plus vector Q, and vector Q plus vector P, they are equal. If we are changing the order of addition there, the resultant will remain same, which is said to be the commutative property. So when we are adding the two vectors as vector P plus vector Q we are taking, we are getting the resultant, and if we are adding vector Q and vector P, so we are getting the resultant. So in that sense, when we are changing the order of addition as we are taking vector P plus vector Q or vector Q plus vector P, we are getting the same resultant there. So here let's see how can we show that the vector addition is commutative there. So first of all, over here in this figure, the addition of the two vectors vector P and vector Q is to be taken in two different ways, and here we are using the triangle law of vector addition. First of all, we are taking the vector P here is to be added with vector Q. So, vector P is given the side of the triangle OA and vector Q is given the side of triangle AB. And when we are adding these two vectors, vector P plus vector Q, we are getting the resultant of this addition as vector R from O to B, which is the third side of the triangle. So, the value of the resultant over here, that is OB vector, as vector P plus vector Q there. When we are adding in another way, like vector Q, which is having the side OC of the triangle, is to be added with vector P, which is the side CB there. So, when we are adding these two vectors, vector Q plus vector P, so the third side of the triangle will give the resultant of the addition of these two vectors, that is vector Q and vector P, and hence we are given the resultant R for the addition of these two vector Q and vector P as from O to B. So, when we are adding vector Q with vector P, we are getting the resultant R, which is the value vector OB. So, as you can see over here, the value of vector P plus vector Q, we are getting OB vector, that is nothing but the resultant vector. And when we are adding vector Q with vector P, we are again getting the same OB vector, that is nothing but the resultant. That means in both the addition over here, as we are changing the order of addition there, the resultant which we are obtaining by using the triangle of vector addition is given the same magnitude and same direction. That is OB vector, which is to be represented as R vector. So, here we can say that the vector addition is commutative, and hence we can write vector P plus vector Q is equal to vector Q plus vector P. Similarly, vector addition is associative. If three vectors are given as vector A, vector B and vector C, then these three vectors can be added together, and here it follows the associative property. That means when we are making a group of vector A and vector B and we are adding these two vectors, so we are getting the resultant over there of vector A and vector B. The resultant of the addition of these two vectors is to be added with third vector, that is the vector C. So, finally, we are getting the resultant of the addition of these three vectors. The other way of adding these three vectors are like we have to add second and third vectors together, and the resultant of the addition of the second and third vector is to be added with the first vector, and finally we are getting the resultant of these three vectors. And it is to be found that if we are changing the order of addition by means of their group, we are getting the same resultant. That means it follows the associative property of the vector addition. Over here in this figure, as vector A is to be added with vector B, by using the triangle of vector addition, vector A, which is to be added with vector B, represents the two sides of the triangle there. Vector A is to be started from the point O to point P, and vector B is to be started from point B to point Q. So, the addition of these two vectors, that is A plus B, we are getting as the resultant of these two vectors, which is to be given by the third side of the triangle from O to Q. The direction is to be given of the resultant vector A plus vector B is from O to Q. So, here now this A plus B will become, as per the triangle of vector addition, if you are considering its as a one side of the triangle, then another side of the triangle will be from Q to R, which is nothing but the third vector C. So here we are considering the next triangle, that is OQR there, and here we are adding OQ, which is the first side of the triangle, which is nothing but vector A plus vector B, is to be added with third vector C, and hence the addition of these two vector, one is the group of A, vector A plus vector B, and second is vector C. The resultant of the addition of these vectors is to be given by the third side of the triangle, starting from the first point of the first group vector A plus vector B and ends at the end point of the vector C there. So here the resultant R we are getting as vector A plus B plus vector C there. So from the triangle OQR, we are getting the final resultant of the addition of the vectors, that is 3 vectors are to be added there, and here we are getting the value of the resultant as vector A plus vector B plus vector C. Now another way of adding these 3 vectors are, if here we had considered the vectors B and vector C. So vector B is to be added with vector C, and as per the triangle of vector addition, vector B, which is having the side PQ, and vector C, which is the side of the triangle QR. These two are being added and the resultant is to be given by the third side of the triangle, that is PR there. So the resultant is from P to R is the resultant of the addition of the vector B and vector C. Hence the value of the resultant from P to R is vector B plus C. Now in this resultant, as we are considering another triangle, so it is one of the side of the triangle PR. In this we are adding the vector A. So vector A is to be starts from point A to P there. So over here vector A is to be starting from point A to P, and starting point of the vector B plus vector C is to be taken at a point P and end at a point R there. So the resultant of the addition of the vectors A and B plus C is to be taken as per the triangle of vector addition by the third side of the triangle, that is OPR, and the resultant value will be the addition of vector A plus vector B plus C. And the direction of the resultant is to be given in such a way that starting from the starting point of the vector A to the end of the end point of the vector B plus vector C. So from the triangle OPR, we are getting the value of the resultant as vector A plus vector B plus vector C there. So here we are getting the same value of the resultant. The magnitude as well as the direction of both the resultant is same. So we can say that vector A plus vector B plus vector C is equal to vector A plus vector B plus vector C there. That means here we have changed the order of addition by means of their group, and hence we are getting the same value of the resultant there. Hence the associative law is proved. So here we have studied 3 vector operations, that is multiplication of a vector by a scalar, second addition and subtraction of vectors, and third triangle law of vector addition. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.